Hello, film friends, friends of film, and everyone in between. Welcome to the Film Folklore Podcast. I am Jed Props, and I am joined today by Zoe Props.
Hello.
Chris AD.
Hello.
And, of course, our collective better half, producer Justin Sound.
Hello.
We are joined also with Mr. Joe AD today, who is in a undisclosed location, as we understand it. Joe, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, Jed. Loud and clear.
Okay. The microphone must be doing something strange with his voice. Anyway, all right. Well, we are excited to have everyone here today. And before we get going, we are going to get into another fun Find the Fake movie title. All right. So I'm going to give y'all 3 movie titles. Keep in mind that 2 are real and 1 is fake. So today we're going to go with horror movies. And here are the titles for you. Deathbed, The Bed That Eats. Vampire Bitches. Killer Condom.
Just 3.
Yep.
Just the 3.
Just remember, 2 are real, 1 is fake. Anyone want to take a first stab?
So deathbed, deathbed, the bed that eats.
Mm-hmm.
Vampire bitches. And killer condom?
That is correct.
Okay, someone else guess.
I mean, I'm gonna say
think.
that killer condom is the fake one, but I feel like these are all so improbable that it could be any of them. Are you gonna tell me that?
Deathbed,
You gotta pick one.
the bed that eats sounds so specific, like so trauma. Is it trauma?
Yeah, Tromaville.
Tromaville?
The Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that it has a subtitle. I mean, that's, I'm not that creative, guys.
I'm gonna go with vampire bitches.
Vampire Bitches?
Yeah.
All right.
But
I feel like also that's real.
Yeah, but I want to see that movie. You know, like
I see all 3 of these movies.
are they kind of like are they just really rude vampires?
Yeah.
That are female, or
Yeah.
are they just kind of like
Or they're owning it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like they're owning it.
Yeah.
Does the killer condom kill the wearer, or does it kill both?
You gotta watch the movie.
It's just a condom that just doesn't work, and so you get STDs and die.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to spoil a plot. Justin, any guesses?
I would have to say the vampire bitches, just because I went with the obvious one last time. I would go with the condoms one this time, but I feel like it's the obvious one, so it's got to be real. Yeah.
All right. So the answer is Vampire Bitches. Is that a fake movie?
It's fake.
Yeah.
So friggin' smart.
Now, if I had put a comma in it, would
not
that have
specific
changed anything
enough.
for you guys? If it was Vampire, Bitches, would that have done anything?
That would have, I guess, brought it more into the present or something. Like,
That just made it more contemporary.
Yeah.
All right. Any guesses on? Well, Chris already did guess on the killer condom plot. I guess we'll start with Deathbed, the Bed That Eats. That one is a very straightforward plot. I'll let you take a stab at what it is.
is it trauma? That sounds so troll to.
It was basically an obscure horror comedy, I believe, from I want to say the 90s. Extremely low budget.
Does it got teeth, or does it just like drag you to hell or something?
I believe the box cover art had teeth. But the plot is a bed possessed by a demon spirit consumes its users alive. Period.
So the mattress is the comfort. I gotta watch a movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Killer Condom has a much more complicated description. It says the plot takes place in New York and in the present in a hotel called Quickie. A professor blackmails a student of his into having sex with him. But when the professor puts on a condom, the carnivorous condom bites off his penis and disappears. Detective Macaroni, who gets the case, thinks that the college girl just bit off her teacher's penis! ! Macaroni goes to the motel himself to check out the crime scene. In the lobby, he finds a gigolo named Bill, and he asks him to follow him to the crime room. There, the two men attempt to have sex when they are suddenly interrupted by the attack of a killer condom.
Yes, Gigolo.
So this
Bill
condom is
and
just
macaroni.
like walking around used up, not even back in its package. Who's
I
you know what
imagine-
mean?
Just
put it
What's
back
this-
on.
A sentient
what's the
used
story here?
a sentient used condom.
You know
out
what I
there.
mean? One
Yeah.
condom going around. Like these isn't a brand of condoms that's killing people. I don't know. A lot of plot
maybe-
holes.
I don't know. Maybe
don't buy
maybe
it.
he doesn't like his disposition. Like, I don't like that everybody thinks I'm a used evil condom. You know, I
But
don't
if
He
know.
these
doesn't
two
like
people are
his
having
lot in
sex,
life.
He hates penises, and his lot in life is to be on penises.
I can't
and he
help that
just-
I hate penises.
but the
Yeah.
condom goes, takes a shower, comes back, rewraps itself, or these people were just like, oh, I don't have a condom. Well, there's one over there. It's a little used, but
He just keeps flipping himself.
Seems legit. I don't know.
Inside out each
I
time.
mean, I
I
put
don't
my
like
dick
the
in a lot of
murderous
strange
look
places.
inside.
Let's just use that.
I also like the idea that it's like, oh, look, there's a perfectly serviceable condom right here. It's out of the package, but what are you going to do? All right. Those are always fun. So with the horror clue in mind, what would y'all say is the quintessential summer blockbuster?
Oh,
I mean,
I need a definition for quintessential.
but it's also like before or after Marvel.
Well, what's the original
Yeah.
summer blockbuster? I'll ask it that way. The beginning of the summer blockbuster.
or like,
Are we in
so
film?
yeah, summer specifically.
Y'all are doing really great because you
like
already
genuinely-
know what we're talking about today.
Confused.
Yeah, I mean it's Jaws.
There
Like,
you go. It's Jaws. That's right.
But like, I also think of like movies like Die. I don't know if Die Hard came out in the summer. but,
Christmas.
Like that
Christmas.
It was.
That was Christmas.
But like Independence
Dark
Day,
Knight, the Batman
all those.
shit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it was just all
Yeah.
the big budget things that were actiony.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Because we are going to do
Yeah, big
another
time.
installment of Legendary Lore today, and we will be discussing Jaws, the mechanical sharks, writing nightmares, and why you don't shoot on the open ocean. So this was originally, I was just researching this to be one of our Legendary Lores, but this one was so insane. I had no idea how horrible the behind the scenes production of Jaws was. It was.
yeah.
Y'all are about to have your minds blown. So anyway, we're going to get into a little intro and background. So like I said, it's often credited as the origin of the summer blockbuster. And it almost didn't happen. And there's another universe where Steven Spielberg is a nobody. And he is only known as this failure shark movie that never made it. So quoting Spielberg, when I think of Jaws, I think about courage and stupidity. I think of both of those things existing underwater. Continuing from a different interview, we must have been complete idiots to have even expected to have an easy ride in the middle of the ocean making a movie. So get ready for a lot of dumb luck. And then later in hindsight, we'll, of course, clap and applaud him as one of the greatest directors of all time.
Yes.
So everyone's seen Jaws, right?
Yep.
Okay, Zoe has not seen Jaws.
Boy.
Well,
Are you
But
serious?
yeah, I haven't. it's been on. I haven't seen it.
it's like Attack of the Killer Manatee, except sharks. Just know it
Yeah.
that way.
No, I know what it's about. I've seen The Simpsons
Take
and
the-
Bob's
take the-
Burgers. I know the parodies at least.
Okay, good.
But anyway.
This might
did the
increase your
ride.
interest to see it because you're going to go, now I got to see how this like classic looks now that I know all this horrible behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, I would have seen it.
All right. So, what are some things that y'all do know that went wrong with Jaws as far as the making of? Y'all know any?
I know the book is wildly different from the movie.
Yes,
Peter
they cut out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's like
There's a bug.
there was like
We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't.
Okay, I didn't want. Yeah,
No.
I know that.
You go ahead, Joe. I was telling Zoe we'll get there. Who was questioning what a book was?
I whispered it. I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed to be here. I'm
Hold on,
gonna
my mic cut out. She hasn't seen Jaws. She hasn't read a book.
She's familiar with paper, she said.
I forgot my
Yeah,
pants.
oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry. You can't see that. I'm so sorry.
just
Paper. You mean papyrus?
Yeah, it's bound paper with words on it.
The stuff that you got your scrolls and that.
Oh, your scrolls go. Okay, all right.
I'm just a girl.
left to right.
He's a left to right scroller, I see.
But yeah, there was. I know that. I don't know if it was like. I remember when Kubrick made The Shining, and Stephen King hated The Shining, the movie, because it left out like the book was super dense with all this other stuff. I don't know. I can't remember if like Peter Benchley kind of hated Jaws as like a reduction of, because really it's like killer shark on the loose. The town still wants to put on like a festival. You know, people get eaten.
It actually has a similar plot to Dante's Peak, if y'all remember the Pierce Brosnan movie.
Hell
Where it's
yeah.
Despite all the signs that this is about to erupt, that people are like, no, we have our annual festival we have to put on.
We have our mountaintop party.
Right.
We got to do it.
Speaking of like celebrities that are the coolest, nicest, best people in the world, Linda Hamilton is literally the great. If I haven't already said it on this podcast, she is literally the coolest person.
She
on
lives
Earth.
here part time, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's over on the
Do you know
West
her,
Bank.
What's her
area.
Do you know
address?
her exact address? Yeah.
No. She used to ride her bike up to base camp on Claws though, so she was like over in
wow.
that
What color was the
area.
bike?
Whatever.
That's wow.
She had a really Mardi Gras decked out like lights and purple and green and yellow, and
She had a
She was
boombox
cool.
on it.
Cool.
Wait, Joe, can you see
probably.
me? Can you see us here?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're right there. I can see you.
oh, that hurts.
Being that this is an audio format, you can't see
It hurts.
Chris flipping off Joe.
He's blowing kisses.
And those are how he blows kisses.
Oh my God, that's
so-
true.
It is actually true.
So the writing is just one aspect of all the things that went insanely wrong. Before we get further in, the sources I used for today are a 2022 Collider article, a Washington Post article from earlier this year, a 2021 BBC article, a 2022 Hollywood Reporter article, and a Screen Rant article also from earlier this year. Details will be in the show notes on the website. So now here we go. Where do we begin? I was aware that it was a problematic shoot, but I just had no idea. And maybe this is a moment where we can talk about the film gods or something like that. But apparently they were wanting Spielberg to succeed. Or maybe he made a deal with the devil at a crossroads. I don't know. An ocean crossroads. So in the Collider article, it's quoting, the story began in 1973. Producers Richard D. Zanuck and David Brown were given a copy of the novel and they were hooked. And they got the book before the book was out. So they basically got their hands on knowing that this thing was about to be a hit bestseller. And they figured, hey, if we don't make a deal with Peter Benchley, then someone else is going to. So they wanted to get the rights. They wanted to get in there first. And so they bought the movie rights for $175,000. And this is in, I believe, 1975 money. And so they didn't actually think about like, well, now that we got the rights, how are we doing this? And so then you get a quick background. So the first two choices to direct turned it down. So their third choice, and only because he was under a studio contract, was this guy named Stevie Spielberg. And they called him Little Stevie at the time. That's not true. And I'm sorry, 74. And he had done some TV episodes, a couple of low-budget movies. He had no horror background. He had no monster movie background, nor any kind of background that might be helpful or relevant to make the movie Jaws. But he had ideas.
He did that movie Duel, right?
I
Where
believe
it's like
Duel
a-
came. Well, no, Duel was before. You're right.
I was just looking it up. Yeah.
He had Duel, but it was like a. I can't remember if that was like a TV movie. I think.
Well, was that the one with Goldie Hawn?
No, that was the one where a guy was being chased by a semi truck driver, and like it was I've never seen, or if I've seen it, it was like 20 years ago. But like You never see the driver of the semi truck, yet the semi truck is like this,
It's like
almost deity that's chasing this man.
reverse Maximum Overdrive, where you see way too many semis, and nothing makes sense.
A TV movie.
No soda machines shooting Pepsis into people's balls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Definitely do
Too
not
bad.
want to go down that rabbit hole. Maybe that's another we can cover at another time, and Stephen King's cocaine habits. The crazy thing with Steven Spielberg getting this is that he came in with a lot of ideas. He, now especially he's known as being a stubborn perfectionist. And at the time, he was a very, very patient man, and he had to be because this went awry in a way I've never heard of a production doing it. So keep in mind, this is 1974. No one had shot on open water before. Not a feature, certainly. And it was not a thing. And still today, it's not even very much a thing, to be honest. But Waterworld, they did it, and we know that was another one that didn't go well. We usually do water tanks. Has anyone had water tank experience?
Nope.
No, but I have open water, a couple months of it.
Oh, what were you on?
Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters.
So why were you on the water?
No clue.
Was it literally called the Sea of Monsters?
Yeah, literally called the Sea of Monsters. Yeah. But we had it was on a yacht, and so like a 3-story like actual super yacht that was on Lake Pontchartrain. For those that don't know what Lake Pontchartrain is, like huge,
Large body of water. On the
large,
side of
but
the sea.
can act like a lake or can be like an ocean in terms of its activity. And we had 2 of those, big flat rectangular, just flat barges that we could put camera on techno crane, float the barges around the boat, or turn the boat as it was docked to have the shore was always behind us. We always wanted to look like we were out on the water. And so this is docked shooting. And it was a effing nightmare. Every shot that needed to be set up, every time you had to turn the camera, it was hours. And this is under control, not on like open seas at all. And it was months, and I think it went a couple weeks longer than it was supposed to. And anyway,
Well,
there was lots of Jaws talk on that one of like, at least we're not out there in the Gulf right now.
You're actually you're making a good segue there, because we will get into issues with background in the horizon.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, we're going to talk about the first one, which I think is one of the more well-known issues with the movie, and that's the sharks. So there were 3 sharks made for the movie. They all got the name Bruce. Does anyone happen to know why they were all called Bruce?
No.
It's the name of Spielberg's lawyer. Ha ha ha. So that's how they got the name Bruce. Also, fun trivia.
Because he's a shark.
And the shark in Finding Nemo is named Bruce, and that's an homage to this.
It's like, I know that one.
A single drop of blood and the lawyers come.
Yeah. So
You can smell it from 50 miles away.
so these mechanical sharks were constructed of a steel skeleton and a polyurethane skin. And by all accounts, as you can see on film, they were as real as a fake shark could look in 74. And for those of you that actually have a computer today, there are pictures that I put in that y'all can look at. I see Chris is looking now.
I did the Jaws ride in Orlando, Universal Studios. That's something.
Yeah.
But so one of the things I could not find the answer to, and anyone feel free to email and let me know. But these were made for fresh water. I don't know why they were made for fresh water when they were shooting on open ocean. So my only theory is that at the time they were approved to be made, they were talking about being in a tank. That's the only thing I can guess.
You're saying that the sharks were made for.
Correct.
Okay.
And as you're about to see, that was one of the many problems with the sharks. So the salt water shorted out a lot of the electrical stuff, and they had a lot of mechanical issues. The
Or
salt
did they
water,
just not think about it at all? They were like, water.
it could have been.
It's all the same.
Honestly, it could have been that the way this went. Yeah.
You know?
One thing I thought that would be interesting that we could talk about for a minute is on the subject of cover sets, because if you see the movie Jaws, all of the land related stuff was relatively fine. It was pretty normal, nothing of interest to shoot or whatever. All the issues happened on the water side pretty much. Now, in the beginning, you might have something called a cover set if you happen to get into a weather problem, a mechanical shark failure problem, or something like that, so that you can salvage your day and still get something in there. Maybe, Chris, do you want to speak a little more specifically to what is a cover set? Why do we have cover sets? And
So it just cost a lot of money to film a movie or a TV show. And so you want to, when you have everybody showing up for work, they're getting paid, and the people with the money want to make sure that their money is being spent well. So you have a cover set, which is basically just kind of like, if you know that you're supposed to be shooting outside in your movie for a long period of time, you want to be able to have some scenes that you can shoot that take place inside that you can run to if, in case, the time that you've scheduled to be shooting outside, you get rained out, or any number of just weather related things. And so you can get to a point where it's kind of like you have shot all of your interior stuff and the rest of your movie has to be done outside because that's what it calls for and that's what it is. And then in those cases, once you've gotten to that point, you'll just kind of stay there in hopes that the weather will clear up so that you can get something in the can. And then it really is only going to get called if it's like dangerous weather. The lightning is so bad that somebody can get injured or killed or something. And then, then that's called an insurance day, which I believe they buy some insurance to pay for those kind of days. So, yeah.
Yes, that is correct. And the reason that I wanted you to speak to cover sets is because things went so badly, they ran out of cover sets. So this was supposed to be a 55-day shoot. Anyone want to take a stab at how many days they ended up with?
I think it went
5. I just want to guess. I just want to be a part of it.
I was totally gonna say. I think you're close. So I think it was like
That's
double.
insane. Double?
117 and a half.
That's insane.
What is it? What's the number?
No way. It's 60.
159.
Holy
What?
shit.
Oh,
God.
104 more days.
It was a 7-month shoot.
oh, my God.
So
That's crazy.
more on that in a bit, but getting back to the wonderful world of the sharks. So again, in this whole making of them, there's a guy named Bob Matty. He was a special effects guru who at the time was at the end of his career. He had a long time film career and he had his build team. They're the ones who built the sharks based off the designs by Joe Alves, or I don't know how is it Alves or Alves, but the production designer. A separate special effects makeup artist named Roy Arbogast and his team were tasked with the daily touch-ups and cosmetic maintenance of the sharks. So as the salt water is constantly destroying everything about these sharks, these are the people constantly having to hold these things together with duct tape and hope. So,
Sounds like my life.
Yeah.
Spielberg in a 1981 interview on the Dick Cavett Show said, "The first mistake with the shark was that they made a big mistake and they built it for freshwater. We never fixed the shark and it was a total disaster." Thanks, Stephen. On the inaugural launch of the first shark into the water, it was less than impressive. According to the aforementioned Washington Post article, off the shores of Joseph Sylvia State Beach in Oak Bluff, Massachusetts, near Martha's Vineyard, Boats of tourists gathered along the stretch of Atlantic Ocean to watch a legendary shark's first swim. It was submerged 30 feet underwater. Bruce prepared for his first attack. His sharp white teeth bared for a catch. A menacing gray fin signaled victims' impending doom. A crew member pulled the hydraulic lever set to launch the 6,000-pound fish to the surface, watching as its highly anticipated ascent quickly turned for the worst. Tall first, Bruce emerged from the water, big white belly topsy-turvying from left to right as the production staffers groaned in disappointment. That's how it started.
Belly up.
Belly up. At another point, one of the sharks sank and had to be recovered from the bottom of the sea. I think we can safely say that this is the very definition of an effects nightmare. What a horrible department to be in on this show.
Yeah.
I feel like you can feel the pain.
Yeah. Totally.
Sidebar, I just saw like I caught a thing on like YouTube or something like that, and it was like Jurassic Park's 30-year anniversary, I guess. Because it was 93, but they had similar things with the T-Rex animatronic thing with that raining scene where the T-Rex came through the fence and everything, and the T-Rex started to like shudder and shimmy, and like teeth were falling out, and the whole. And I'm sure Spielberg was just having like just Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh no.
You want to work with all these big giant animal electronics. What do you want, buddy?
Yeah. And you had the choice, Steven. You didn't have to have it raining in that scene, but you did. You brought this upon yourself.
Well, and it went so well last time. What could go wrong this time?
Yeah. It's like, we're not on the ocean. This will be fine.
Yeah. Which is actually, now that I think about it, that's the very thing of Jurassic Park. What could go wrong?
But like,
Yeah.
so this is something that actually occurred to me the other day when one of the Jurassic Parks like came on, and there's like 17 of these movies. And I was talking with Megan.
Don't forget, he doesn't count too good.
No, I don't. It's like 1, 11.
I think second's my favorite one.
So for a moment, I
really
forgot
good.
all about the Chris Pratt ones. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Anyway, got it. I'm on board.
I think that there's legitimately like 7 of them, and I've only really watched the original one from my childhood. Not hating on the others, just haven't seen them. But like, do they all begin with like, no, it's gonna work this time. We've worked out all the kinks. Like everybody that got murdered because the dinosaurs got out, we figured it out. And then people are like, oh, okay, here's an insurance policy for you. Yeah, we think it's going to work too. Like, how does it keep on happening?
Yeah, they get a little more existential with it. You know, they do the modern thing, but I don't know. I saw them all once. So.
But I mean, like, if there's still like dinosaurs in a park, like it's amazing that
When
they've got
Lloyd's of
7
London
movies.
has your back, you can create dinosaurs over and over again.
I guess so, man.
But I mean, I've seen 3 of them at random, certainly not in an order, and I know I'd agree. I think that is how they all start. Like
First scene, it's
we
like
figured out
they're in
what
the
went
insurance
wrong
guy's
last
office,
time, and then
like,
this time it's going to be great. Also, let's just keep sweeping the fact that probably by the final movie, I mean, like well over 100 people have been murdered. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to sweep under the rug. Well, they went to that dinosaur island and they haven't come back, but they said that they're okay. All right, well,
We're making money.
You know,
It's great.
it's just my mom and dad. Anyway, so now we're switching into the writing side of it. So because of all of the issues, just what I've mentioned, and there's many more, it led to constant rewrites. And oftentimes rewrites were happening the night before the scenes played. Does anyone want to speak to how lovely it is to be getting new script pages at 0 hours? Chris is shaking his head.
No, nobody wants to talk about that at all.
No, it's hard. It sucks.
it's a
you know?
nightmare. It's a nightmare for every department.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a what would you say, like a cascading effect where it's like it's coming basically from the top and then infiltrating every department on its way down, and it's awful. Everyone hates it.
Yeah.
So apparently this was happening all the time. So the script itself was a major issue from the start. Peter Benchley offered 3 script versions of his book. That's what he was tasked to have 3 versions. Spielberg didn't like any of them. So another writer was brought in to rewrite with less subplots. This is now answering your thing, Joe. Less subplots. Spielberg still wasn't satisfied. He brought in friend and writer Carl Gottlieb, a known comedy writer, by the way, not a... In fact, his claim to fame is The Jerk, a fantastic movie. Yes, the guy that wrote The Jerk is the rewriter and main writer for Jaws.
That's amazing.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
So...
That's all you need for your resume.
I know, that's it. I got Jaws, I got Jerk. Not so much after that, but, you know.
I mean,
No more Jane name movies came.
now I can see where we're going to need a
I
bigger
got
boat.
that mailbox.
So we're going to need a bigger boat.
Jaws, Jerk, and Jerk Jaws.
Have y'all seen Jerk Jaws? Oh, dude, Jerk Jaws is fantastic. That shark is an ass. So anyway, Carl Gottlieb did yet more rewrites. But at the end of the day, Spielberg wasn't wrong. He wanted it simplified. Killer shark, men hunt shark, and that's the story. So all the other book stuff was pretty much omitted. One of the things, because I haven't read the book, but one of the things I thought was interesting of note is one of the subplots in there is that Brody's wife had an affair with the mayor. Which,
was the mayor? I knew there was an affair.
Yeah, I mean
plot or
that's a
something.
dynamic change entirely.
Yeah, what?
But there's tons of stuff that got cut like that. So
It's probably a smart move.
They also did a thing I've heard where, which is again like goes back to Spielberg choosing to have it rain on the T-Rex. Like you could have had a dry dude, but like. I think in the book, when they go out at the end of the movie to like finally go hunt the shark, they go out in their boat and they stay out there and they hunt the shark. Whereas in the book and other scripts, they kept coming back to shore every day. Like they'd go out, hunt the shark, and then be like, "Oh, tough day, not seeing the shark." And Spielberg was the one that was like, "Let's have them go out there and stay out there," which was probably attributes to like the. Triple the size of the schedule.
I mean, again, he's not wrong. I mean, cinematically, that would have been so lame to watch these guys going out constantly. I mean, even if you montaged it,
yeah.
I mean, you got to have a montage, but that was cinematically that would have sucked. So Carl Gottlieb was not meant to be on the whole show, but because of unforeseen issues such as weather, scheduling, shit-ass sharks, actor egos and conflicts, and a myriad of other things, he became the writer for the whole show. So that's why he has the main credit. And oftentimes it was producers, first AD, writer Carl, Spielberg, all meeting together after a day of shooting or not getting a lot of shooting done to work on more rewrites.
Oh,
so rewrites. Do we need to explain rewrites? I feel like the word kind of.
Well, but like we should, I think, talk about how it affects like every like department. So, for example, I mean, like in the props department, all of a sudden you get these rewrites, and it's like,
wait, you don't need the guns anymore?
Yeah.
But it's that, or it's a million different other props that were never talked about that you didn't know that you don't have.
Yep.
That you got to come up with.
We weren't supposed to shoot that till next week. We don't have that till next week. We don't have that now. What are you talking about?
Or it's a totally new thing that was never, you never planned for having, you know, and then all of a sudden it's there. And then, you know, for costumes, it's like there's 5 new characters and they definitely are all wearing business suits that are Armani.
Oh, the local police are now sheriffs, so they are county. They're not municipal.
Yeah.
So just slight change to their uniform.
And then, you know.
Or it's a scene. It's like instead of a little scene around the dinner table, now it's a scene out on the street. You got more extras. You got locations. You got all that.
All of that.
Press scheduling.
You got to
mayhem
book all
casting.
Those, yeah.
Again, domino effect. And because you reminded me, Chris, that's also a thing of there's two ways that the rewrites can happen, and there's the polite way, and then there's the other way. And the polite way is people going around, such as a producer, or maybe it's the top departments heads, like maybe it's the production designer for me, and they're basically checking in. Hey, there's a rewrite coming. If we pull up scene 86 tomorrow, will you have what you need? And then you're saying, well, it's en route shipping, but I can't make it get here faster, so no, I won't have that. That's the polite way, where they're at least checking to see what is feasible, what's not.
Yeah.
And then there's the other way, where they just suddenly new pages come out and they just expect you to figure it out.
Yeah.
Oof.
Which do you get that seems to happen on like TV more than movies.
Yeah. Definitely TV
it definitely
more than
does,
movies.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, guess what? At 2 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
while you're sleeping.
And then and then like as an AD, like it's your job to make sure that everybody gets the pages, make sure that they know the gist of it. And then I mean, really, a lot of it is like other departments just being like, oh, well, I hate you though, and it's like I know I hate myself, but it's still happening.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone ends up being mean about it. It's your fault.
I know. It's crazy.
Why you gotta be mean about it?
I can't imagine that feeling. But then you're on a movie you were supposed to be done on 3 months ago, and you're still on this movie, like sunburnt on a boat, and you're just getting more rewrites every day. It's just like, oh my gosh, make this end.
Okay, I want to shout out to Justin Cooley. He's a camera guy. He was working on Ozark, one of the seasons, whatever. But while he was there and he was working on it, his Instagram every day would say, because I guess he was with like a B camera where they're doing a lot of water shots. So every day he would have a new picture posted, and it would be like day 14 of a man, a camera, and a boat. Day 22 of a man, a camera, and a boat. But I just,
waiting for orders.
I just appreciated that he was making the most out of B-roll. But anyway, but I guess that's a decent segue, because we're going to go to the ocean next. So Justin, I do want to give you a heads up because there's a sound nightmare coming up in a bit. So I'll give you a trigger warning in case you need earmuffs or something. So with everything we've talked about so far, can y'all think of any reasons for why shooting on open water is a bad idea? And I'll give you a hint. There's more than one.
Yeah. Well, first of all, sharks.
Wind.
Sharks.
The real sharks or the mechanical?
Real sharks. The real sharks.
Yeah, that getting crew out there turning around. I mean, I don't know, because I don't really know what that looks like shooting on the.
It sounds just like it's a
can you,
nightmare.
I mean, you can probably start. Well, I don't know.
There's like working barges that
It
they
sounds horrible.
built. So
Yeah.
imagine like platforms with equipment on them and stuff like that. And some of these barges have been pulled out, and they have the sharks on those. So think of it like a series of boats and barges.
Okay, because in my head I'm like, well, I guess you don't really have to turn around. What's changing? They can move. You cheating.
Yeah. But like,
Let's turn the boat. Don't turn the camera.
but like going to the bathroom, getting everyone out there, getting lunch. Where do you run for cover when the weather changes? People literally drowning, losing equipment in the water. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and
Yeah.
on.
Because I'm also thinking about like
Sound.
safety protocols back then. Like, I don't know.
It was much less.
Yeah.
Well,
like, I don't
I'm
really
sure
think it was
nothing.
as like, you need your life vest.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
can
I mean?
guarantee
Yeah.
you there was no hazard pay because it's a myth. So
Totally,
it's a myth
He's
today. It
gonna
was a
die on
myth
that
then.
hill,
But I mean, I could also see like, some grip dying. They'd be like, well, Joe's dead, idiot.
Yeah.
And then they just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Throw a
take
couple bricks on
a
him.
boat. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, take a boat or
They
just
poured a
push it down.
beer out.
Well, and then they go like, what's your name? Peter. You're now, you get a pay raise. You're now the new gaffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop that shirt off.
But I do craft service.
You're the shark now. Yeah. But sound nightmare wise too, like this.
Yeah.
Ditch, you could probably talk to that, but like, isn't it true that like sound travels through water and over water way more than like? So if there's a boat, like a speedboat that's like a mile away on the horizon, you could still hear like,
Sure, you know, I didn't
like,
think
God
about.
damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays, that's not as much of an issue with all the technology they have to remove noise and all that stuff. But yeah, back then they didn't have all that. So I'd imagine all of that is quite
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And waves make noise too.
They do.
What?
Yeah.
I gotta see this movie.
well, Zoe, you're going to have a chance because I'm going to stop us here. Excuse me. So this is where we're going to stop today, and we're going to pick up part 2 next week, and we are going to cover the remaining half of all the problems and everything, continuing with the ocean. And let's see, thoughts so far. Is it already way more than what you were imagining, or is this kind of on par with the way I was setting it up, or surely it can't get worse? What do y'all think of what you've heard so far?
Oh, what do you mean? Surely it can't get worse. I mean, it's gonna get worse, right?
Well, yeah, there's a part 2.
Come on, yeah.
I feel like
Actually, it got better, and part 2 is it's fine. Everything's fine. They got a new shark. He's better.
Spoiler alert: is a happy ending to part 2, and it's 2 sharks going anyway.
I feel like it's like this so far. This is like I don't know if you guys, when you guys like get a call for a job or something, and the movie's about like, if you like a job for something like Air Bud, and they're like, it's a dog that plays basketball. You're like, oh boy, animals. That's gonna slow us down.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a movie where it's like all kids and it's a first grade class or something. You're like, oh my gosh, it's kids. This is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like Jaws is the like when Spielberg said like stupidity and dumb luck or whatever. It's like this was people just walking into a quagmire.
Yeah.
But they just had no idea.
Yeah.
And there's just no reason. I mean, there's a million reasons the movie's great, but like there's just no reason that Jaws should have turned out as good as it did.
Can you imagine too, like all
true.
the positive optimism that was there in the beginning?
And then how quickly it was dashed. Or
By
like
the
day
end.
1. Yeah.
The murderous.
Crashed. Water pun. Love it.
I love it.
All right. Well, we will see y'all next week for our season finale and part 2 of our legendary lore, Jaws. And Zoe, you want to take us out?
Yes. We want to hear from you, the audience. Do you have a behind the scenes story? Maybe you work in the industry, or maybe you had a run-in with reduction. You know, you live in New Orleans, New York, whatever, and some PA stopped you on the way to work and it was annoying. We want to hear about it. We want to hear about all of it. We love all the stories. Write us and maybe we'll read it on the show. Or maybe you just want to tell us that you love us, or you really hate us, and you want to fact check us because we're wrong about a lot of things. You can troll us, whatever you want to do. You might even want to guess where Joe or Chris are on any given day of the week. You can do that by emailing us at filmfolklorepodcast@gmail.com. It's filmfolklorepodcast@gmail.com. We do indeed want to hear from you. You can also find us on the social media. Instagram is Film Folklore Podcast. Facebook group is Film Folklore. Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, @The Film Folk. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us. We really want to hear from you. It's very important to us. Again, we work in the entertainment business, so we need a lot of validation. We're very pathetic, sad people, and we really want to be reviewed. We want to know your honest opinion, and it means a lot to us, because you guys mean a lot to us. And for any of you that really like us and have some change burning holes in your pockets and have, just any money at all, like a credit card, we set up a donation with PayPal and Patreon. Links are in the show notes of this episode and our website. Money helps us do more fun things, and we want to entertain you. Money helps you do more fun things, which helps us do more fun things, which is also helping you have fun. And it would be really nice. And we love you. Goodbye. I'll watch Jaws.
You're right.